It's another utterly miserable day outside, so once again, welcome back to the spare room. An organisation called Children's Health Defence is attempting to sue Facebook because it claims the social media giant's refusal to air its adverts amounts to censorship and denying it the freedom of speech. First up, good luck trying to sue Facebook, a multi-billion-dollar company owned by Mark Zuckerberg, an emotionless automaton sent back from the future to enslave us with its superpower of targeted advertising. But why would Facebook ban adverts from an organisation promoting children's health? Well, the name, Children's Health Defence, is at best misleading, but more realistically, it's utter bullshit, as they're actually an anti-vax group. So Facebook is in fact acting sensibly by refusing to run these adverts because even though freedom of speech is a fundamental right, it doesn't apply if that speech endangers life. The level of stupidity required to be an anti-vaxxer is right up there with the flat earthers, the difference being that those who believe that the earth is flat, that we live under a glass dome and the moon doesn't exist, are harmless imbeciles giving us someone to laugh at. Whereas anti-vaxxers not only endanger the lives of their own children, but also the lives of other people's children and society in general, because everywhere where there's a concentrated number of anti-vaxxers, there's also a spike in the number of diseases which can be prevented with vaccines. And then they take to the internet to ask moronic questions. Here we have a parent of an unvaccinated 3-year-old asking what to do about the localised outbreak of measles. Well, if you weren't such arseholes, your child would have been immunised and would therefore be safe. And not only that, if it wasn't for you and your anti-vax mates, there wouldn't have been a fucking outbreak in the first place. Then there's this well-publicised tweet from an anti-vaxxer claiming they knew best because their daughter, who was vaccinated, died. Undoubtedly, that is a tragedy. But when you get beneath the surface on this, it transpires that the daughter was 34 years old and died of an asthma attack. Now, there's no vaccine for asthma, but there are many medications. But anti-vaxxers tend to be sceptical about what they refer to as Western medicine, preferring to rely on alternative therapies. But let's be clear, when it comes to curing illness, there is no such thing as alternative medicine. There are only medicines which are tried, tested and proven to work. Everything else is placebos and snake oil. Anti-vaxxers, please go to any third world shithole where people are dying of preventable diseases and ask those people, would they prefer a course of antibiotics from the oppressive capitalist West or a course of, crystal therapy? And all of those people will choose the tablets rather than lighting candles while some half-wit waves a rock at them. The anti-vaccine movement really got going in the late 1990s when a British doctor wrongfully claimed that the MMR vaccine was linked to autism. And even though that paper was withdrawn, the conspiracy theory had started. And even now in 2020, anti-vaxxers still believe that vaccines cause autism, which of course they don't. What's happened is the condition is better understood, so it's easier for a doctor to make a diagnosis. Therefore, there are more reported cases. Now compare that to the early 1990s when I was at school, and back then learning disabilities weren't really thought to exist. Any child who had autism, Asperger's, even dyslexia wouldn't get extra help. They were just dumped in the remedial class with the kids who were sucking the lead out of pencils and seeing how many crayons they could shove up their arse. And now that the world is being ravaged by COVID-19, the anti-vaxxers have found equally backward allies in the anti-maskers. Of course, there are some people who can't wear a mask because they have legitimate health problems. There are other people who don't want to wear them because they're a bit uncomfortable, and then there are others who refuse to wear a mask because of their political allegiances, which is bizarre given that politicians can't make up their mind what to do from one fucking minute to the next. But the real friends to the anti-vaxxers are the anti-maskers whom, Despite every credible doctor in the world saying that the worst case scenario is that masks do no harm, somehow assume they know better. And for anyone watching who thinks that having a piece of cloth covering one's face is detrimental to your health, let me ask you a question. You know those long cold winter nights when everything is freezing? And you go to bed and in a desperate attempt to keep warm, you pull the duvet up over your head, sleeping in effect with cloth covering your face. Did you notice when you woke up in the morning that you weren't fucking dead? Both anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers share this paranoid delusion that there must be an ulterior motive going on, being controlled by either world leaders, Big Pharma, the Illuminati, or strangely, Bill Gates. Bill Gates has spent years and millions of dollars trying to vaccinate people from developing countries, but now he's being portrayed as some sort of Bond villain. We've all read the conspiracy theory that COVID-19 vaccinations will be used to microchip us so we can be traced. But most of us, the more intelligent members of society, know this to be false. However, for the anti-vaxxers, please consider this. If you are an anti-vaxxer or any type of conspiracy theorist, the chances are you do what is laughingly referred to as research, or at least some of it, on your mobile or cell phone. This electronic device knows all of your search history, your social media accounts, your bank details, your passwords. To unlock it, you have to either let it scan your face or your fingerprint, which you have voluntarily given it. And even if you turn the GPS off, it is constantly pinging you off the nearest cell towers to triangulate your position. Why would you need to be microchipped? You can be tracked all the time. So it's good news that Facebook aren't allowing these paranoid cretins to have a platform to air their idiotic pseudoscience. And in other good news, in Africa this week, wild polio has been eradicated. And that's been done through years and years of vaccinations. Thanks for watching.